Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Over Manga Cast. That time we woke up in a podcast and had to explain manga, our heated adventures, overanalyzing manga that we find interesting. My name is Sam, and we're doing a two-parter this week. We are diving right back into Oshi No Ko by Aka Akasaka, where we last left off. Chapters 67 through 80. So make sure you listen to last week as well to keep up, because things are getting wild. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Over Manga Cast. My name is Sam, and as always, well, normally at the top of the show we talk about our familiarity with the franchise, but this is a two-parter, so if you missed last week, we talk about it there. We are continuing from where we last left off in Oshi No Ko. And, yeah, this was objectively the correct decision.
Yeah, shout out to the listener who recommended we read it this way.
It was definitely too much to do in one episode, which the runtime of the last episode is very indicative of. But I'm glad for us and you guys as well, we did this as one continuous thing.
Mm-hmm. Because we pick up right where we left off last time. That is to say, the end of the Tokyo Blade play. And now, what else do we do at the end of a hard production but we go drinking?
Good old Japan.
The most theater kid thing is, hey, play's done, but we're gonna go get drunk, right?
Yeah.
For the high school play? No, we would never do that. No high schooler knows how to get alcohol. And large groups of them don't meet after a play and then drink. That'd be illegal, and no one has ever done that.
For the proof that Jake and I were lame, but...
Well, I don't drink anyway, but...
Just because we're lame doesn't make it not true.
I've never been in a situation where me being a theater kid has made me cooler than other people, but also...
I do also like the fact that Akane, like, is acting like she's drunk, but the manga points out that it's actually ginger ale.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's her personality in general.
That's Kana.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I would have made the same mistake. Don't worry about it.
Even when Akane isn't actively trying to look like her, their names are too goddamn similar. They're off by a syllable, and they're both vaguely redheaded in the black and white style of the manga.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, she is wasted off. Kana is wasted off that ginger ale.
I love how she's the one who goes like, I hate going to parties after rap. Everyone just gets belligerent and they make a fool of themselves. Proceeds to immediately get belligerent and make a fool of herself.
Page turn, yeah.
Absolute classic of a gag, but it works every time.
Because that's Kana's personality. Like, her personality is already basically, like, tipsy.
Mm-hmm.
I love how this manga just skirts by. Yes, the underage characters are not drinking. Even if the one actor is like, yeah, I've been going to these places since I was 15. Oh, and you don't drink? I turned 20 last month, so I've only been drinking since then. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure, bud.
They're all out at a barbecue place, as evidenced by Akane masterfully cooking up some food. And Aqua thinks that this is the excellent time to begin the investigation. So, since Kendachi, the old director man, no, not that one, is one of his primary suspects, he decides to inquire about his past while also plying him with more alcohol. Aqua has, despite having many talents from his previous incarnation and his current one, he's not very subtle in this regard. Hey, how about you drink more and tell me all about your dark secrets? No.
But don't worry, Himekawa comes out of nowhere, goes like, no, I also want to get the old man drunk and pump him for information. Hey, let's ditch these losers at the restaurant and go to a drinking bar.
I gotta say, I really like Himekawa. He is just kind of floating in the background, and whenever something happens with the main characters that he thinks is interesting, he will immediately dive in and back them up because it creates a little bit of excitement.
Mm-hmm.
And he's otherwise just bored.
hmm It's like, oh, Kana and Akane are feuding. All right, I'm immediately siding with Kana because Akane has Aqua in her corner. Oh, you want to get the old man drunk and spill his secrets? I love streaming. Come on, I know a place.
Unfortunately, it works a little too well.
One might say it's a great bro move.
Hmm.
Maybe even only half a bro move.
Yes.
Yeah, so the old director guy passes out, and Aqua has DNA test results. Let's just get to that.
Yeah, they go to Himakawa's house because they're like, hey, we fucked up. We got the old man blackout drunk. Also, I live with him. And Aqua's just like in a sex thing? No. He's like my adoptive dad. Like in a sex
Sex
thing?
thing?
No.
I also love when Kendachi is like, just before he passes out, he's just like, yeah, you're gonna be a great actor, Aqua. You're just the kind of guy I like to bring into this fold. The ones who are f***ed up. You got something broken inside you, and you use acting to fill it. That's the ticket.
That's why I love orphans that are always looking to please things and have a hole deep inside of them looking to be filled. Okay, Kendachi, maybe you should go to sleep now.
Oh, every week with this.
Just really saying the quiet part out loud, but not the part that Aqua needed to hear, which is why we have dived into the DNA test results, revealing that Aqua and Himakawa are half brothers on their father's side. Dun dun dun.
We also get established in just a throwaway line that Aqua has been paying for these DNA test results out of pocket and has at this point spent $50,000.
Millions
I-
upon millions of yen.
I love how the way that this is portrayed as like I've been using the revenue from my acting stuff and also my part-time job. It still hasn't covered it, but we're not going to go into more detail than that.
I also did illicit things online, and I'm sorry, not illicit. He did part-time work online, which I think has been mentioned before. He does like video editing on the side.
Yeah, that's what he
Mhm.
does with Sensei.
Yeah. Well, he's also been freelancing aside from what he does with Sensei. I think
Is it-
that's been referenced before, but just
Yeah.
the way it comes up in this conversation that he's telling someone is super weird. Like,
It's like burn the house down, except he has less scruples.
Yeah, it's it's almost as if this is being explained to a invisible third party on the other side of the fourth wall in the room.
yeah. But we basically get the gist of it because Himakawa goes like, "Oh yeah, you're looking for our old man. Well, I don't have much information that's gonna make you feel better because it looks like." And then he pulls up a news article. He's just like, "Yeah, so my mom was an actress. Your mom also in the entertainment industry. You're not gonna give me her name. That makes a lot of sense. She was probably a no good marriage ruining whore."
He
So,
He phrases it more nicely than that, but that is what he says.
that is the strong implication. 'Cause
Yeah. He simply phrases it more nicely.
Mhm.
yeah, that is exactly why he does not dig for more information because he's just like, I don't want my mom's life sullied any further because, as we've established, he is an orphan because his parents both died in a murder suicide.
Mhm.
Yeah, and my literal immediate reaction is, oh, that wasn't a murder suicide, that was a double homicide.
So
This is-
Jacob, like me, your immediate reaction was what Akane
Yeah.
figures out later.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I am very glad that at least one of the characters was smart enough to immediately see how suspicious this all is.
It's like, that's a cover up. You know that's a cover up, right, Aqua?
Like, it's so obvious.
Like, what they were having like just a regular relationship. Like it wasn't illicit. It was
Mhm.
this guy is kind of a loser and he's just piggybacking off of like successful starlets. That is not career destroying information. That is not worthy of a murder suicide. Like
Yeah.
Like-
Ostensibly, this is a mystery. So, to give our audience a bit more detail, if you haven't done the reading, which you should have, Himakawa says that their father was a B-list actor who was married to a more successful actress. And since that's the case, Aqua is probably the bastard child of a illicit affair, which he already knew. And the two of them had reportedly taken their own lives in a lover's suicide. But
Well, see, here's the thing though, because to me as an audience member, it was blindingly obvious.
Mhm.
You can be Aqua can be forgiven at least currently for not putting this all together, because the reason why it's so obvious to us is because the manga isn't ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a level of we do have a bit of an unfair advantage from our perch behind that fourth wall over there. That
And
said, though, Aqua has presented himself as very intelligent, so I really do hope that he figures this out semi soon.
I
I
think
I
there's a
can
degree that Aqua wants to believe it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
exactly. That's what I was about to say, because, like, this is, the emotional catharsis. Sure, he didn't get to kill the bastard himself, but the bastard is dead. I can let it go.
Yeah,
And despite how much this has been driving him, clearly it does not do anything good for him, and on some level he recognizes that.
it hurts, and the entire last arc was about how he knows that it's bad for him. He might be using it to motivate himself for a goal, but and like the other thing that's worth noting about all of this is it doesn't have a perfect, neat, tidy bow wrapped up. Like there's, like loose threads that the audience can see. But from a certain perspective, there's a sort of like real world mundanity that it makes sense that that's a way that this story could realistically
Mhm.
end. It's like again,
Shockingly
there's
mundane for everything else that happens in this manga.
yeah, and it's like this is a magical world with reincarnation and crap, but like at the same time, this is the real world to these characters. So you get a very plausible explanation like that, and the immediate reaction is going to be those pieces all fit together, don't they? Like you see
How
you
it all
see
fits
how the
together.
narrative plays out in your head,
Mhm.
and it's a dead end and it's a conclusion, so why not accept it?
It's closure where you're never gonna get any else.
Mhm.
It is also utterly hilarious how immediately, from an audience perspective, there's no way that any reader could have ever fallen for this. I'm sorry.
Also, I love Himikawa, who's just like, holy shit, I have a half brother and he's an actor too. This is crazy, man. Anyway, want a brewski?
Well, man, I didn't realize I'd be talking to relatives. Hey, you seem like a cool guy. I could have really just been worse off. But, our dad was a piece of shit, so I guess there's a little bit of him in each of us. Because he's kind of like, oh, man, yeah, I really don't treat women well, but like, eh. And I'm like, fair.
Uh-huh. Himikawa has a level of self-awareness that is respectable, but it does not cause him to self-reflect and grow, which is not.
Yeah,
Well,
which is very real for celebrities in general.
yeah, I also the way he treats women, I don't think is anything that really he needs to grow from. He kind of just treats romantic.
He's way better than Bleach Blonde from the last arc.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was about to say he's not like, well, he is playing with women, but that's a very different scenario than like leading them on. He's
yeah,
kind of
Mhm.
just, I like casual flings because it's easier and doesn't cause trouble for my life. Which
Mhm.
it seems like he pursues women who also like that situation.
yeah.
So,
That's the situation where it's like because because presumably, and like everything that we've seen, it's the same for the women he's with. Like he's not hurting anybody by doing this.
as we've established, if you have an adult relationship while being an entertainer, you deserve to be murdered by your fans, I guess?
Look, I like my IP address the way it is. We're not going to talk about it. We have simultaneously one of the funniest and saddest and most intriguing chapter ends where we cut to the next morning and Ruby in the most adorable pajama getup. It's like, I can't believe you, Oni-chan, staying out all night. And Aqua just like, "What? I was hanging out with one of the cast members. I didn't even do
Oh,
that.
one of the
Whatever.
girl cast members, you male hussy?
No, it was Himikawa.
Oh, that's fine if you just want to bro it up with some dude.
Yeah, bro it up. I'll talk with you about that later. Anyway,
No, I will not talk about that with you later. Distinctly.
whatever. I'm making breakfast. You want anything? Yeah. I think I will. And I love how this is framed. It's like there's several pages of him having emotional flashbacks to He's like, there's nothing else I can do. The guy I thought was the murderer was dead. I can't perform any more vengeance than I already had. There's nothing left for me to do on this thing that's been driving me. Kana calls to scream at him, "Where did you disappear off to, you male hussy?" And there is this beautiful last panel of him standing by the window in the morning sunlight, turning back to smile at his sister, saying, "Yeah, I'll have breakfast." Except the sparkles are gone from his eyes.
Yep. Our boy has lost the drive he had for living.
Mhm.
Is what I vaguely remember the sparkles representing when I did them.
Considering every time somebody else was having a supremely life-affirming moment of catharsis and peaking in their art form, they get the sparkles.
The I I don't remember. I don't recall if this is something like if it's only referred to this in the meta text or if it's actually stated in the story somewhere, but like it star power is the term used. It's literally like the verve that goes into performances in general, but that also represents Aqua's drive to do the thing. So it's like that going out means like the spark he had for acting has gone out. Because the thing is, it's sort of interesting the way that like
Emotionally balanced people with no hangups make bad actors. Who'da thunk?
but like I don't know if the series is saying that because like his eyes aren't like blank or dead. There's still life in them.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it does kind of feel like he's lost a part of himself. Like there's a bittersweetness to it, even though strictly speaking, under normal circumstances, it should be a good thing. Which also ties into the fact that like it's blindingly obvious from the audience's perspective that his revenge quest is very much not over.
Mhm.
It is the something special, I think is vaguely what it is, because I just had something special about her that
Mhm.
was like she was an idol, but then she was full of this like je ne sais quoi. And
Mhm.
her children both have that same quality. And it was something that made them stand out. And now Aqua doesn't have it anymore. He has lost the motivation that made him so good in spite of being mediocre at everything else.
Mhm.
Not mediocre at everything. He was
Well, he
mediocre at acting.
yeah. Well, also mediocre from his perspective. I have a feeling that part of the reason narratively why this is done is that there's Aqua's going to get like a
He's going to
confidence
suffer.
boost arc.
Mhm.
Yeah. He's definitely going to suffer a serious downturn in his acting career, which he has not expressed a desire to end. So he at least is going to because that's the thing of this whole reincarnated to fulfill a purpose thing. Once the purpose is fulfilled, well, shit, I got the rest of a human lifespan to go. What am I gonna do with it?
Yeah,
And
and that's where he is emotionally at this point. I I have a feeling that like where it goes from here is that he's going to struggle with acting, but then at some point he's going to find no, I can still do this, and whether or not that brings the star back or if he finds like he doesn't need the something special to still read a room
or
and
he
be
find
able to perform because that's what he did.
Mhm.
right, but that's plot predictions. We can get to that at the end.
Right.
Right now, we need to have more of Memcho having a quarter life crisis.
I love
I love Memcho
this
so
poor
much.
woman.
Poor
This
woman is just like, I hang out with teenagers all day, and I'm desperately clinging to the last vestiges of my youth.
Oh, poor Mem.
and like she's trying so hard and in many cases succeeding. And then they just keep murdering this poor woman.
Our YouTube channel has 20,000 subscribers. We're doing pretty good. And then these two Zoomers go, that's not even close to 1 million. What do you mean 1 million? What
Oh,
is your measure of success?
they
We're
go
not going to be Mr. Beast.
They go into a whole thing about like, oh, so you mean the YouTube channel, when we divide the money up amongst everyone, we're not actually making any money from it? That's barely pocket change. We'd be better off working in a convenience store. And I'm like, the YouTube channel should make no money because it is advertisement for your singing careers. Like,
Seriously.
I mean, which them also points out.
Yeah.
And
I love her screaming and pointing at pie charts while Kana and Ruby look bored and kind of embarrassed.
it's the most 25-year-old thing that she could possibly do, and I love her for it.
You damn brats.
We're gonna do a room tour video.
hey, why do you do that?
Why would I bare my private life for all the weirdos on the internet to see? Because then everything in your room is a tax write-off. Let's do it!
So I just feel the need to make the announcement right here. This manga should not be used as tax advice.
This is not financial advice.
You had to have bought it for the purpose of making the video.
Whereas Kana is just like
Hey, here's
pointing
this
out all the expensive things that she already has.
here's this $2,000 bag that
Here's my Herman Miller gaming chair.
$3,000 gaming PC that she's never used.
she bought in case she might try a streaming career, which I think was her next step if acting didn't work out, because she would do well. That
Oh, yeah.
streaming for failed actors has worked out great. Like,
She's
Oh,
also
she
got a good personality for a streamer.
She would absolutely kill as either a flesh tuber or a VTuber.
please never say flesh tuber again. Holy shit, that's I hate that word.
I'm just going with the lingo, man. Anyway, all this talk of doing a room tour has Ruby considering all of the memorabilia that she has, and also thinking about, hey, that entire past life thing, you know, that perfect reincarnation isekai bullshit that's really, I feel like it should have more impact on the plot.
It's really not important to the plot. They're just gonna breeze past it. That one will never come up again.
I love the flashback of teeny baby Ruby calling the hospital and learning that Aqua's previous incarnation, Goro Sensei, has been missing.
Which I think is the first time we learn his name.
No, it was almost certainly in the
I
first couple of
think
chapters.
I think it was brought up in the prologue, but I don't know for certain, and I'm not going back to check. The important
I've
thing
also forgotten about the isekai plotline, so don't worry about it.
the important part is that he's gone missing. And little Ruby, desperately holding on to hope, says, well, wherever he is, I'm sure he's following the new Bikamachi and watching over me.
Ah, what a wholesome memory that she won't later expound on in a very different way.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Well, the second half of this is juicy.
Oh, juicy.
Oh.
Memcho thinks that, all right, girls, so we've been doing pretty good doing covers of old Bikamachi songs. However, what we need is a music video with a new song.
Well, they're not going to do a new song at first. They're just going to do like the main Bikamachi song.
Right.
Because
the music video coincides with the fact that the president had been having a new song written for them by the composer of the original Bikamachi sounds.
And so they're starting to plan going out to the photo shoot location because Memcho has connections in the video editing industry. And they're going out to Miyazaki, which, according to which gets an immediate, distant expression on Ruby's face, because that is where the hospital where she died and was reborn is. So we're heading back to the scene of the crime, folks.
I'm sure this won't come up as a relevant plot point later.
Several times.
Oh. There's a quick bit of Aqua briefly getting the eye star back of like that musician could have possibly known I. Wait, no, that doesn't matter anymore. Anyway,
That doesn't matter anymore. I heard that the dad we have in common probably killed himself, which I just love. Doesn't solve his problem. He just thinks it does. Like,
yeah.
Also, Kana not helping. Bless her heart, she's not helping. She's like, huh, Aqua, you seem different. You seem warmer. This is nice.
oh, you
you
big softy.
You mean when I don't have the cold edge of murderous vengeance about me? Yeah.
But I like that about you. I like that you're healthier. Now, if only there were another love interest you had that actually liked it when you looked cold and murderous.
Oh.
Also, poor Idol Company president. I forget her name, which is I feel bad about because she's actually very interesting as a
Yeah,
character.
no, she's a great character, but I don't remember her name either because everyone just refers to her as president.
She's
She's trying to get the new B Komachi song, but they're not big enough to urge the
producer.
songwriter to put it on the front
this
burner.
chapter is so weird because they are like, yeah, that was the original composer of B Kamachi's entire like album. But he's been sitting on this request for like over a month. Well, he's really successful. He's not really under any pressure to do it. And then Ruby's like, you should call him up right now and ask him to finish the song. And the president's like, okay, hey, can you finish the song? I'll get around to it. Well, that's all I can do. Hung up the phone. And then we stick with the composer who's just like, yeah, I'll get around to it. And then we get his internal monologue, which is, my God, has the flame of my life finally quelched? Am I no longer successful? The young me had so many things I wanted to say to the world, thoughts, opinions, ideals, but now I'm just churning out the same tired nonsense. Am I a spout that has run dry? Am I but one flickering wisp away from the candle going out forever? Maybe I should just quit music. But if I quit music, what else could I possibly have? I am out of motivation. Nothing more for me. I am dead. And then,
Yeah, recording from Ruby sent.
and then just like Ruby going like, hey, I'm Ruby. I'm really cute. And I'm going to sing your songs. Yeah. And that's paraphrasing, but also exactly what the message
Yeah.
is. So, and then it's literally, he goes,
Motivation restored.
I have the motivation of 1,000 gods.
Man, I'm a former punk rocker at 45. What the hell do I have to be angry about anymore? Holy shit, cute pop star is gonna be singing my song. Let's go.
My God.
Also, the run up to this is also quite fun because recall for a moment the fact that the president was convinced that Ruby and Aqua were gods at one point, which kind of explains why she can't say no to Ruby whenever she makes a request. But like there's also it starts off as like it's going back into the like exploration of the idol industry bit that was from the beginning of the series of Ruby talking about how we can't wait, we need to always be moving forward, and talking about how each of them has potential to move on and do other things, so we have to do this now. And then she starts just murdering them. Like it's some of the most brutal stuff.
Poor Mem Show.
They killing your ass in the Twitch chat right now, my guy.
It's all the lines from Ruby are the worst because she doesn't mean it, but she's also the most honest about it. So it really is the meanest. It's just like
she speaks so sincerely. It's just like, we have only a limited time as idols. Kana might go back to being an actress, and Senpai, she's almost 30. I've got 5 years left. Only 5 years.
The way that the art that they have for them is just the freaking best. The little like kitty mouth silhouette when her name is mentioned into the crying death silhouette, bleeding from the mouth as she is stabbed by Ruby's word.
Poor thing.
And God even is like, Ruby, please stop.
You are going to kill one of the members of your idol group. Please.
Emotional damage too high.
Pure psychic damage. She was just spamming vicious mockery.
Oh, yeah. Also, Kana gets in a few swipes and then, as if karma was listening to her, decided, hey, let's switch to Aqua.
Uh-huh.
As Aqua's on a date with Akane.
Yep, they Kana has a brief moment of thinking that she's got the upper hand in the romantic battle where it's like, "Oh, hey, we're going to be going out to Miyazaki for this music video shoot. You know what? Maybe we should turn it into this little vacation for after Tokyo Blade. So that means you should totally come too, Aqua. Do you have luggage? I don't really have luggage. All right, we're going to go buy luggage then. It'll be so cute." All right,
Let's
yep,
go
see you.
tomorrow. I can't do tomorrow. Any plans that you might be doing that day?
Yeah,
We'll
I'm
just
going out
have
with
lunch.
Akane.
Maybe the day after then. I'm free then as well.
I'm
Free every day.
like she just starts listing off days, and somebody in the background's like, "You're free every day."
Oh, that's Mem. Mem is getting her revenge right there.
Which fair.
Mem is both trying to be helpful and also taking jabs where she can get them.
I love how they
She's so good.
briefly mention that Ruby and Aqua are still in school, which also Kana and Akane are both in school as well, but that's not important.
Nope.
And then after mentioning they're in school, it is never brought up again.
Oh. There's
Speaking
also
of things that are never brought up again, my favorite moment of the isekai sort of kind of not really mattering is when Aqua and Akane are out on a date. Aqua takes a picture of her and goes, "Say cheese," and she's like, "Wow, you sound like an old man. That say cheese thing. Do kids not say that?"
My God, I'm so old.
he's just like me, for real, for real.
My brother in Christ, you are 17 in this new life. How have you not picked up on the lingo?
Yeah, there's really no excuse here. That
He was
you
too
pull-
busy focused on his revenge plot.
If you pulled that shit like in the child arc, maybe. You were too busy leveraging having 3 decades of previous life experience to be a creepy child in a Hitchcock.
Ugh. The other sort of fun through line is poor Mem is friends with both Akane and Kana. So she's just watching this train wreck.
Desperately trying to be neutral.
she's just like, who do I ship? Who? I don't know. They're both too good. But yeah, so essentially this plot line right here is Aqua and Akane are on a very cute series of dates, which eventually culminates with Aqua saying, "Hey, yeah, we were gonna go on vacation. I guess I don't really have any work to do. The rest of the girls are gonna be working, so I'll just kind of be by myself. You want to come along?" And I'm just like, "Oh no, you basically just shoved a knife into Kana's back."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Killed that girl and she's not even on screen. 360 no scope.
But it's okay, because what happens immediately after made me forget this scene happened, which made the reveal of this the funniest thing I've ever read. But we'll get there. Because essentially he goes like, "Yeah, by the way, probably gonna want to talk to you about something when we're on that trip." And then Akane just goes like full like flashback to like, "Dear God, he wants to talk about something. People only want to talk about something when they want to break up. He wants to break up because we're not boning on the reg."
Oh,
Which
right,
is
because
not inaccurate.
right, because this is a purely transactional relationship as part of our professional lives. You think it's time to break up, Aqua. I mean, I didn't think I was being that obvious, but
Aqua, is that what you want? Well, no, it's what you want. Well, someone in this conversation should just say what they want rather than just being self-sacrificing for the other, because this really is just going nowhere. Oh no, it's two teenagers talking. Well,
I was gonna say it's one of the most teenage things ever, because like
they get this close. They get this close to actually talking about their emotions and healthily communicating.
it's such a healthy conversation in weird spurts too, because it's essentially just like, hey, do you think it's weird that we've been dating and we've never kissed or held hands? Don't you feel like that creates distance between us? And Aqua goes like, I mean, yeah, that's kind of why I want to break up. You
Mhm.
want to break up? Well, no, I assumed you wanted to break up, so I'm doing it for you. That's not what I said I wanted. That's weird how you're not actually doing what I wanted. You're doing weirdly what you think I wanted, as if that takes precedence over this. She's like,
Anyway,
what? You
any
don't even want to kiss me or even have sex? And he's just like, no, I don't. What? And he's like, wait, no, yes, but
I
hold on. There's a whole bunch of
There,
mental baggage with me saying I
there's
do want to have sex with you, which is physically true. I am
uh-huh.
not made of stone, but
We're gonna go to the bridge where I almost committed suicide, and I'm gonna say I'd be willing. I'm down to pound.
oh, that's cool. There's a lot of baggage with that I'm not gonna unpack right now, but yeah, we can keep dating, I guess. Oh no,
we will in fact talk about this more on the trip.
I love the pages where Akane is just like, you think that a relationship without any physical without any physical parts is pointless, don't you? I don't think that. I don't. There's like 2 panels of Aqua having a is that what I think? Like very confused
that
expression
that
as
is
he
awkward. That is Aqua having his teenager brain take over for a second. Goes,
Yeah,
wait, no, that is a thing I want.
yeah, that 100% is. I was just gonna say
he's desperately searching his feelings for the truth.
because the eye shine in part is representative of his previous self, you
Mhm.
know. So like now that he's free of like the very like adult revenge plot, it's like, do I just be a teenager now? And
I
if
mean,
I
like,
do just be a teenager now, I do kind of want that.
but
And
like that's
But
the
like
thing. Like that's what the entire arc of like Aqua's thing in the stage play was the death of the Goro still inside of him until we revealed that it wasn't Goro was just being manifested as like 6-year-old Aqua's inability to help his mother,
mhm.
which is like why we were talking about like okay, so they basically abandoned the isekai plot line then because like they're just using Goro as a metaphor for childhood trauma.
Mhm.
It's like
And Aqua's like, okay, yeah, I have physical urges. That's not a thing. That's not a thing that's not present.
you're also
But
very attractive. I don't want that to
yeah,
be taken like yes,
yeah,
obviously I bleed. Hold on. Like
you're a pretty girl, and I'm a red blooded man. Like, okay, we understand the stakes here. But like, do you even have romantic feelings towards me? Of course I do. As she pulls the exact same thing he did of reflexive answer, self introspective answer. Wait a
because
minute.
hold on, hold
because the
on.
whole thing is
Have I actually caught feelings or am I just horny? And it's both of them thinking that. Like,
It's both of them asking that from opposite sides of that question, and I
yeah,
love it.
I am
because
genuinely in love. Wait, no, am I just horny because being rescued was actually really, really up my vibe? Uh, that was a terrible choice of words.
I'm really horny, or do I just have feelings for you?
Oh
or
no.
both.
Oh
Oh,
God, what is happening?
I
oh
mean, it's from Akana's perspective, it's almost surely both, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And regardless, then they handle this like teenagers do by not resolving the conversation and then silent treatment running away.
Mm-hmm.
But then
we
still clearly doing enough logistics to confirm she is going on the trip, which is
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Because I don't know how you talk to her about like, hey, you're still like meeting up to get on. Like, we still have to buy you a plane ticket. Are we doing that as like a group thing then? Because I invited you on the trip on this date, so clearly we haven't done that logistics. But I'm next time I talk to you, we will act as if we haven't talked since this conversation right here,
which
which
again is very adolescent.
That
it's like
that is important. I think it's also important that she's like, man, you were talking all that hot shit about needing to find a guy to kill him, and I'm really like, I'm willing to back you up on that, ride or die. But
this is
if
the
it,
scene where she's all like, "Hey, were you giving up on murder?"
I don't really need to do that anymore.
Oh, that's a real turn off. Could you reconsider?
What do you mean you've been doing dozens of DNA tests? I've spent 5 million yen.
hold on. Did you just say you dropped $50,000 on this? Just gonna skim over that part. No,
Any
honestly, genuinely, her reaction is, "My God, you spent $50,000 on this insane. You've been stealing people's DNA. That's hot. That's so fucking hot."
But yeah, he then proceeds to relay the information that had been divulged earlier to him, and like Akata's immediate reaction is the audience's immediate reaction of that's not a murder, that's not a murder suicide, that's a double homicide.
Yeah, I guess after all of this, finding out that my biological father killed himself, it's really my grudge is just gone. I'm free from this. And she has the most ghastly expression on her face. And she's like, oh, he doesn't realize, he doesn't see it. How
Yeah,
does he not see it?
this is actually another case where her imagination runs wild and she writes the most interesting possible story in her head and happens to guess exactly correctly. But the
Mhm.
other kind of cool thing about this is like we make the joke about, oh, you don't want to murder anymore, it's a turnoff. But like her conflict at this point is there's definitely another thread to pull, and he's actually happy now, but I know he would want to know the truth if I'm right. So do I
Mhm.
say anything about this to him?
Yeah, because she's also not 100% sure if he's happy or content, and, like,
Two
they're
very different things.
they're all the type of personality as, like, people aspiring for the entertainment industry, where being content is not a desirable trait. It's like, you need to want more. You need to, like,
You need to
relish
be
the blood of
hungry.
you need to be hungry. You need to relish the blood of the people you've defeated. Teamwork is for suckers. Only one person can make it out of Blue Lock alive. I
Do
want you to know how good the tears of your enemies taste.
it really is. I can fix him. I can make him worse. Which will be better for him and hotter for me?
I can fix him, and by fix him, make him some kind of revenge monster. Goddamn.
Meanwhile, Ruby going to visit Ai's grave, and then a mysterious man in a hat and glasses is like, yes, Hoshino Ruby, you sure have grown up to be a beautiful young woman, though I shouldn't be surprised. She's our kid, Ai.
Yeah, so I
Dun
I'm gonna
dun dun.
I've got a
Done.
question. So his haircut looks almost identical to the dude that is Himikawa's father. Is I don't know. We don't have enough information. Is that supposed to be him, or is it
I
just it could also be another dude? Because
I
they
th-
made the choice to show us his hair.
it could be another blonde guy. I think I'm not entirely sure because it feels like a red herring.
Hmm.
But it also feels like it's trying too hard to be a red herring.
Yeah, it's the most concrete information we've gotten in this since
Uh-huh.
someone actually murdered I. Like,
Yeah. And I mean, like, it's one of those ones where it's like, strictly speaking, with how unambiguous the phrasing is, she's our daughter after all.
hmm
Like, for that to be a misdirected, that's not who Aqua's been looking for, that would require such gymnastics as to be like an intentional gotcha of the readers, which please don't do that, Oshi No Ko.
Yeah, that's the lamest thing you could possibly do in a mystery.
Like you as a series is stretched so thin, you have managed to pull it off shockingly well so far. Please don't trip at the goalpost.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, it's time for more cute dates.
I
Kana. God damn it, Kana.
Oh, Kana.
I love Kana so much because she's got an opening panel that I desperately tried to edit to be funny, but it's just gold as
It's
is.
already so funny.
Which one of these outfits would he like? And then in very stylized font, it's cute or sexy. Like it's selecting a fighting game character.
Do I go with this one piece and stockings that accentuates my figure? Maybe I should go for the plainclothes idol look. That way it's talking about the industry. Or I've kind of got this like schoolgirl outfit that could make me seem really cute and innocent. Oh crap, I'm already late.
I love how this is juxtaposed after Aqua and Akane having the most mature deepening of their own relationship, which
Yeah.
instantly portrays Kana as just a homewrecker. Like she's like, "Hey, how do I go on this date with a guy I know is with someone else?"
In order
Ugh.
to make him as into me as possible.
Oh, and then it's
Which is also one of the most adolescent things imaginable.
no, yes, this is very teenager of like, if he just likes me more, he'll break up with her and then date me for real. I'll just turn this shopping trip into a date. Oh dear God, he's paying for my coffee and won't allow me to pay for him. Dear God, he's taking the reins. Oh
He's
no.
so hot. He's so hot. He's so hot.
She gets a full like panel where she transforms into a shoujo heroine. She's like, my God.
It's so shoujo.
Her thought bubbles are nothing but sparkles. This poor girl.
Sparkles and bubbles.
Oh my God.
Wait, he's paying for my drinks, and now we're going to the mall. And oh my God, he bought the the carry-on luggage piece that's the same color as my glow stick in the idol group. And
That one Aqua needs to answer for because he did pick her color. He could have chosen any color and he made hers her favorite.
he has no excuse to not make that connection.
Well, and also on top of that, what happens later in that he has reservations set up for dinner afterward, because I think it's worth noting, we skimmed over this, but I wanted to point this out because it's very important for what ends up happening later.
Mhm.
When Aqua is thinking, I can just be teenaged Aqua Hoshino now, I can just be this version of me and let the past go.
Mhm.
When he thinks about the life he could have, he's thinking of both of them.
Yep. Because he can have it all.
Little playa.
Charitably, he's not decided yet, but also, yeah, he is a teenager. He does have the brain and hormone chemistry of a teenager right now, so
Yeah, because as
being charitable is probably not accurate.
as we find out at the end, Aqua is well aware this is a date.
Yep.
Which makes it so much better because the relationship drama in this is juicy. This is peak. We have not read something this juicy since honestly probably Kaguya-sama.
Aka Akasaka is a master at his craft.
It's so good. I love this so
it's-
much.
Because we find out he's got the master play where after he buys the luggage, he's like, hey, put your bag on the luggage so I can wheel it around and you don't have to carry the bag. And she goes, you idiot, the bag is a fashion piece. Obviously, I'm going to keep carrying it. It makes my outfit go together. And he's just like, well, I offered. And she goes, my God, he's so hot for offering. Time to go home, right? See you later. He's like, actually, I might be kind of hungry. She's like, I desperately don't want this date to end. And he's just like, oh, you might be hungry. Well, I guess we should check out this all-you-can-eat Brazilian steakhouse, which is across the street from where the date ended. Oh, but won't we need reservations for that? I made reservations earlier.
Aqua just walks in and says, table for two under the name Hoshino. Oh yes, follow right this way. He had reservations.
This is some fucking platinum end level bullshit of like, by the way, this date was a trap the entire time.
Kinda looks like she's gonna have a heart attack the entire time. It's so
And she does even call him out. It's like, have you done this before?
My God.
What are you, 30?
You even picked an all-you-can-eat steakhouse so I could eat the exact amount I was hungry for. You masterful deceptor. Why am I so attracted to you? And he's just like, well, I used to be a very rich doctor who dated a lot.
I love the panel of her being like, how are you so good at this? Wait a minute, this is something a guy in his 30s would do who's rich. Narrator bubble, former doctor in his 30s.
Ugh.
And Aqua's just like, yep, I'm just that good.
I'm just settling into my new life as a teenage heartthrob, and I am thriving.
All the looks, all the availability, all the money, and all the experience. Truly living the dream.
Hey, remember how this was an isekai? I'm finally taking advantage of it.
It only took in 70 chapters, but he's finally living the isekai power fantasy of dating all the hottest girls.
I just the fact that when this date, like when they're done eating, he has won because he's just like, well, guess we should get a taxi, and then proceeds to go. They get in the taxi, and meanwhile, Khan is just like, my God, what a masterful strategist. I bet he's gonna try and take me to some kind of fancy love hotel. He's probably gonna want to have sex. But on the first date, could I even be that kind of girl? I
And
mean,
like a fancy
maybe.
four-poster bed.
I,
And
I mean, maybe I'd be okay with sleeping with him. And then it proceeds to go, he did not. They had a completely normal thing. The date ended
Kana
here.
Kana Arima went home safely.
Kana was down to pound. He excelled on this date. That wasn't a date.
bro got the S rank. Like, holy.
Oh God.
That's 2 S ranks in a row.
My favorite part of this date is how it ties into my other favorite part of the reading. But that's like 2 sections in the future, so probably after the commercial break.
Yeah, I think this is a good spot for it, actually.
Oh my God, yeah, because
We've
when they come back, they're going on vacation. And I'm gonna just forewarn you listeners right now, how we've been acting previously is really us underplaying what our reactions to the bit after this are. Because holy crap.
the things that happen. Look, we'll get to it after this. And welcome back to the show, folks, where last we left our pop idols, Bikomachi had just gotten their song, which actually isn't where we left off. We left off on Aqua being the Riz King.
It goes immediately from Aqua being the Riz King into the new song.
Yep. I also love how Kana is extremely unenthusiastic about it because she got blue balled. Even Ruby's commenting on it like, wow, you're
in a bad mood today.
You had such a good date, but also you seem disappointed?
What happened?
I'm sorry, Ruby does not at any point acknowledge Kana went on a date with her brother.
No, she doesn't.
As we find out almost immediately afterwards, I guess, because this is where we are, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yes, the song has been made, and all the girls love it, even Kana, despite her grumpiness. So Mem calls up her video editor and is like, "Yeah, no, that song is awesome. Hey, I know you guys were coming out to film a music video for a cover of a previous Bikomachi song, but how about we just double up on it?"
Doesn't that wouldn't that be an extremely tight timeline? Wouldn't we have like no time to get everything done? We'll shoot the first one in a day.
Yeah, I'll just do whatever. Also, I need to bring this up now because the video editor her name is Anemone or something.
I read that and I was like, this bitch's last name is Money.
All I want to know is whether or not she's purposefully supposed to look like Yuko Ichihara from Holic. That's such a weird reference. I don't know if it's on purpose, and it might just be purely accidental because they both just have cat-like eyes and long black hair. But the fact she's introduced smoking, which is also very on brand, I don't know. I could just be insane.
Now she's vaping. She's modern.
We did update for modern sensibilities.
But she's like, yeah, no, we're totally gonna do a double feature on this shoot. Trust me, it's gonna be great. All right, sure. I guess we're doing it this time for some airport drama.
They all go to the airport, and because Aqua is an amazing person, he doesn't tell. Which is why my earlier statement about how did they figure out how they're getting here. It seems like no one on this trip is aware that Akane has been invited, and because she shows up when they're at the airport, like, oh yeah, I invited Akane, and Kane's just like,
I
What?
am dead inside.
Oh, it's so sad because Mem is comforting her as she goes like, and I was excited about this trip and everything.
Kana is withering, and the thing is, the delightful part is Ruby is making it so much worse.
Ruby, these 2 pages, but really just the 1 page is the funniest thing I've ever read. No, stop, because it is essentially Ruby going like, "You're the girl my brother's dating. I'm not sure how I feel about you. He's a no-good scumbag that just uses women.
How did he land such an incredible hottie like you?
Did he blackmail you?" And then flip the page, full beat. So anyway, can I call you big sister? Because you're basically going to be my big sister at one point when you get married to my brother because you love each other so much. You're basically already part of the family. Let's go and just be completely lovey-dovey completely, as you already are with my brother, Aqua. I'm sure you've even done adult things with each other. And meanwhile, Khan is just like, please, God, kill me right now. Strike me down as I stand so I don't have to endure this.
Mem in the background of that also dying for completely different reasons. It is kind of funny the degree to which Ruby is gushing over Akana.
The fact Aqua knows better and doesn't step in is also insanely funny.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Ugh.
Like, the most Aqua has to contribute to this is when Ruby's like, how did my scumbag asshole bit womanizer piece of crap of a brother land a total hottie like you? Who do you think I am?
My God, Ruby, you're doing some kind of weird tsundere energy right there. And that's weird because tsunderes normally like the target of their disdain. I sure hope that doesn't come up later in our reading. Well, moving on.
Yep, welcome to the countryside.
We'll get there when we get there, and we're gonna have things to talk about.
We sure are.
Indeed.
Hey, did you know that this village has a bunch of shrines in it? Because it's such an idyllic little country place with all these mountains around it. It feels so very mythological and spiritual. And, you know, I heard there was this one god of artistry and actors here that it was Amano Ozume no Mikoto. And right. Thanks, Aqua. You were really on the ball with that one. Yeah, no, she had the shrine over at such and such, the cave where Amaterasu hid herself away, and they needed to throw a party to draw her out.
Oh, so she's like a god of actors and aspiring entertainers?
Yeah.
Oh,
You really had that on the ball, didn't you? Didn't you move out of this place when you were still a toddler?
We're not going to talk about that.
We're not
but
talking
I'm
about
also
it.
going to tell Akane exactly everything I've ever needed to know about my life.
We'll get to that. Or no, this is that actually, isn't it?
Because
This
essentially what
goes-
happens is the girls immediately get dragged away on their photo shoot, on the
the
music
music
video.
video.
Because
Yep.
essentially they're here for 3 days and they have 2 days of filming because they're filming 2 like music
Remember to
videos.
listen to No Read November later this year.
Hey, we budgeted more time for this year. We should be fine.
But yes, while the girls go off to get their filming going on, Aqua and Akane, I love this because Akane is just like, oh wow, we get to explore all this stuff about our culture, and we get to see all these shrines, and wow, it really feels like a real vacation where we're experiencing all this fun stuff. And he's like, yes, the gods, capricious divine entities that play tricks with mortal lives. How curious.
Anyway, let's go to the hospital.
There's something I need to find.
It's essentially, hey man, I'm really excited to do cute touristy shit. And he's just like, hey, want to follow me to do moody bullshit? Yes, any day. I love you so much.
Always. Always. What moody bullshit are we talking about? I'm totally not going to find a corpse. A corpse?
He doesn't say that, but that's strongly on his mind.
And
Well, he does also. Do you think you could find the corpse of a dead pet that was here 15 years ago? Like,
Aw,
Aw,
he's
he
trying
had
to
a
find his
dog.
dead dog. That's so sweet. That's not what?
What? Wh- and in the middle of this pastel goth date, we- my my favorite
Is
my favorite panel is them on the motorized scooters.
Because he's just like, we need a car to get around in the rural area. So like, well, don't you have a moped license? Yes. That's unrelated. They have rentable e-scooters here.
Oh, I don't know why, but I love that panel. It's both of them just a posing on the scooters. It's so funny.
the expressions are so blank.
Is this also the chapter where we get the like sneak peek of what is going to be revealed later, where they're like, and this mountain is known for its many gods. And then we get a flash of a child behind a bunch of crows taking off, and you're like, what the fuck was that about?
Oh, yes, you mean my favorite bit of world building.
Hey, did you forget about the isekai part? Nope.
Nope. But that is at the end of this chapter because
Mhm.
we have the wonderful. It's semi awkward because Aqua is so disconnected from everything that's happening that it's hard to get any sort of like secondhand cringe out of it. But he goes to the hospital. He's inquiring after his past incarnation, like he's just an old friend, and like the secretary is confused, like she doesn't know that name, and he talks about how, oh yeah, all the staff have basically rotated out since then. It's been 15 years. So any of the colleagues that would have known my name have gone off somewhere else, retired or died. Huh. It's sobering.
It's a sort of like it's depressing, but it's also cathartic.
Hmm.
Like again, it's he's putting that identity away.
Yeah, he's looking for proof that like Goro is gone so that he can move on with his playboy lifestyle. Like that is
Hmm.
what he's looking for. He's looking for closure right now, which is why he essentially goes,
We
"Hey, you
have
want to
that.
go find a body?"
Yeah.
Hey kids, want to see a dead body? There's a wonderful pair of panels where uh it's Goro and I when she was there while pregnant, and like just the two of them hanging out under the night sky, and then immediately cut to Aqua and Akane in the broad daylight, looking much more reserved and distant from each other.
There's
Mm.
a there's a really cute scene too when they're oh no, this kind of comes up when it started at the hospital, but it's really dived into more when they go to what we find out later is his Aqua's, oh, I guess not Aqua, Goro's grandparents' house. And like this has just been completely abandoned and let rot. And he then decides to just in the most awkward monologue possible go like, "Ah yes, my friend. He grew up a sad child. His favorite colors were red and blue because as he said one time, he liked the way they felt in his soul."
He
just
just explains the isekai plot.
just deeply personal information about like his hopes and dreams. And in this context, this is supposed to be a doctor talking to a 4-year-old toddler. Like,
Hmm. He's talking about how like his motivation to become a doctor was because he learned that his mother died in childbirth and he didn't want anyone else to experience that pain and guilt
Well,
ever again.
it's a little bit more prickly than that because that's what everyone assumes, particularly his grandmother.
Hmm.
But like the truth is, he just wanted to be a doctor because he wanted to be a doctor. But he went along with that idea because, well, it might as well be true. And if it makes grandma proud, which
mhm.
ties into the way that he gets into performances by basically just reading the room and then doing what everyone else wants.
But there's also like he's missing like a parental bond is like crucial to his character because his grandmother was always kind of distant and his grandfather seemed to resent his existence.
Yeah,
Like,
Hmm.
there's undisclosed tension there, which may or may not come up. It probably will.
yeah, and like again, it's parts of his old life are gone now because his grandparents passed away probably while he was alive.
Mm.
Hmm.
So, and if not, the 16 years he's been gone, like considering no one filed a police report for him missing, I'm assuming his grandparents were dead. That just makes
Yeah.
more sense.
Yeah.
But who knows?
There's also a very gut-wrenching scene of him flashing back to right as Serena, to be reborn as Ruby, is
This is a really freaking important scene.
It's such a
It-
sweet scene too. I sure hope
Mhm.
we don't get another point of view from it that makes it be read in an entirely different manner.
Yeah.
I'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
The important part here is that it establishes that both Goro and Serena didn't really have either parental figure. Like they were functionally orphans. The big thing is as the end is drawing near for Serena, her parents won't show up. They're working and it's like, yeah, but your daughter is dying. Like you should
Mhm.
probably be there for her. And it's one of those ones where it's like
A-
we already knew why Goro was so into I specifically, but also idols in general, was because it was an attachment to this patient that he lost. But we
Mhm.
also like see the moment where that crystallizes for him.
Mhm. Yeah, it's very sweet.
He's basically screaming at the receptionist, like, why aren't they here? A mother should be here. And another doctor cuts him off saying, you're just fantasizing.
That doctor
Some-
is such a douche. Like,
He's such a dick, man.
excuse me, I know I'm gonna just lecture you about this. Those types of parents only exist in media. There's tons of deadbeats in this world constantly. Open your eyes, young man. It's like,
Like, okay,
I
buddy.
don't need to hear that right now.
Mhm. And we have the
Yeah, so someone does actually point out that he's honestly more of a father figure to her than her actual parents.
Mhm. Which is highlighted by the absolutely heartbreaking page of Serena handing him a keychain of I, saying, Sensei, hold on to this. It's the only thing I managed to get when I was still healthy enough to move and attend a Kamachi concert. This is last wish to you. And he declares that he will always cherish it as she dies, declaring that she loves him.
Yeah, I was
And-
about to say, like, that is the beauty of it. It's she's literally going, this like keychain is my heart, and I'm giving it to you because I love you so much. Like, this
Mhm.
is just so incredibly wholesome.
It hurts to read, man. And Serena wondering if she'd ever be reborn, she can't finish it because she perishes then. And Aqua sitting there, dejected, 1,000-yard stare expression, rubbing at the spot on his cheek where her hands were 15 years ago.
And meanwhile, Akana absolutely unprepared for this.
They're in a dilapidated house in the mountains.
He's just like, Akana is totally just like, I thought we were just gonna do some hood rat, like break an entry, do some vandalism.
Oh yeah, we're gonna fuck in the haunted house. This is so goth.
I mean, maybe. And it's like he did like a weird monologue, and I'm like, ooh, foreplay. And like, nope, now he's just crying and touching the air sentimentally. I don't know how to feel about this.
And then, spoiler alert, my favorite character, the spooky psychopump child.
I laughed so hard. Like okay, the thing is, this is a good scene. It is effective, it's functional for what it's trying to do, and yet somehow it's also hilarious, which is something that's very common with Oshi No Ko.
Well, because you at this point we'd forgotten magic existed in this story, and then this is
The BBEG shows up?
this is strongly hinted to be like the god of entertainers, like right? It is
Yeah. That or death.
Porque no los dos, like
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, suspension of disbelief is just removing yourself from the current reality.
it is clearly someone who knows what both of their dying wishes were, so yeah.
Well, she says it out loud,
Yes, like
in the most egotistical way possible, too.
Aren't the gods so kind to reunite two people without a mother? Such a shame that she had to die again. There's gotta be a deeper meaning to it.
And there's like a comment about how a mother who gave birth to soulless children. What the f- does that mean?
Does
What
that
do you mean?
Well,
Does that mean that Ai's children were going to be stillborn if those two didn't die to be reincarnated?
well, Ruby was already dead, so
But she still died on the same night that Goro did.
I don't think she
no,
did.
she didn't. She died
No, that was
previously.
one of the weird things that we had noted previously,
Oh.
that it's like, was she, like, in limbo for a period of time? Because
Right,
the story
right.
has noticeably cut around that circa Serena/Ruby.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that's why he had time to become obsessed with I as like a stand-in for it's unfair this girl was taken so soon.
Right,
It would have
right.
been for Oshi no Ko, it would have been insane for her to die and then I to show up. Well, because I was there for like weeks in like prenatal care.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, I shows up after,
It
Serena's already long dead.
it's been a while since part 1, I forgot.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
But, like, I mean, it's the question of had, Serena not been sick, would they it's like, what does being born soulless mean? Like, is it stillborn? Is it they would have been, like
Is it to make you feel better about Aqua and Ruby being in those bodies? Like,
there's what does it mean?
Absolute tangent. The Legend of Driz, right?
God damn it.
Fantasy series from the Forgotten Realms. There is a plot point where all of Driz's friends die and then reincarnate. There is a scene where Brunner goes back to the woman that birthed him in this second life, and he tries to explain what happened, and she rejects him, being like, "Wait, if you're saying that you had a continuous stream of consciousness from when you died to when you were in that holding place of the divine and then being born, what happened to the soul of the child that was in my womb for all that time before the birth? What happened, you changeling, you doppelganger? What happened to my child?" And like, is that what's happening here? I
Yeah,
don't know.
I recall distinctly we had that very specific question in our first reading, and then it doesn't come up again until now.
and it was really weird because Brunner told that woman, "Hey, just be thankful I wasn't in love with you while I was inside of you. That would just complicate things further."
Man, Yueen suffered so much. She did not need that, and I'm thankful that Bob didn't do that in the writing.
Ugh.
So anyway, after that, obviously that's a deep and mourning and sorrowful, and clearly,
That's some heavy shit. We need some cute to balance it out.
Uh-huh. Cute, relatively.
oh yes, I'm conflating the two scenes. I am forgetting the cute happen. The Detective Conan episode happens in between.
Yeah.
Well, no, I guess Detective Conan is competent. These two just lucked into it. So
They lucked into it because of the Raven, which means it's literal divine intervention. Because they're at the studio filming the music video. We have a wonderful moment of Memcho losing her mind because, yeah, all these minors get to go home at 10 o'clock because of laws, but, the rest of us gotta keep working!
Stop hurting this poor woman.
I love when she's talking to the director and the director is like, "Hey, you're over 18, right?" "Yep, I'm over 18, all right."
I sure can keep doing shots. You
Oh.
got it, boss.
So this is a good enough place as any. I'm mildly uncomfortable with the shots they're getting of them for this music video because it's like,
Uh-huh.
"Hey, can I watch you like cutely eat? And then can I also see you like flash around your dress while splashing in the water?" It's
That
like,
one especially. It's like, yeah, hey, Kana, lift up your dress as you're splashing in this water. Higher.
well, it's not so much higher. It's the fact that the cameraman is getting like a from the riverbed point of view, and I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that is a 17-year-old girl.
Yeah.
It is Japan, but
Not for nothing, but like that does kind of seem to be like on purpose.
yeah, no,
There is a weird edge to like Bikomachi.
well, because so they do keep skirting around it directly, but they do allude to the fact idol groups are popular with shut-in guys who like them as cute yet attainable sex objects. They're essentially sex objects.
Yeah, yeah,
Hence why their purity is in such demand and they're not allowed to date other men. So that
yeah.
is kind of what this music video also has to be.
Yeah, no, this is like it's creepy, weird, uncomfortable, and kind of edgy because it is.
It's the entertainment industry.
Yeah, it's the entertainment industry. This is how it works for better or in most cases like this one for worse.
Mhm.
I think in this case, they're all okay with it and nothing bad seems to be happening.
Yeah,
So I
that's
guess,
true. It's one of those ones where it's like it's a gray area and I have a feeling that it's going to get addressed more as the series goes on
yeah.
because they've done that sort of thing before.
Yeah. It's the downside of this seems to be that it takes so long to film, and it seems like the first day. Oh no, they do dance choreography. They just also are filmed while eating and stuff.
Yeah, they're getting B-roll because it's a music video, it's not just the song and the dance.
hmm So basically, what happens is because they are minors, they cannot work past 10 p.m. So they get let off at like 10:02. So they went up right until the limit. And I was like,
Yep.
okay, you guys can leave. And because Ruby and
Kana.
what's Akane, right? Because she goes home with
Yeah.
Akane.
Oh, that's
Kana,
right, yeah.
There's an entire segment where Aqua's talking about how, yeah, Kana, she's got the right stuff. She has that verve of a pop idol. She's basically screaming at the world, "Look at me. She's going to
There's
be a
also
star."
there's also a bit of, Akana, like, stage momming Kana because of the whole like, their whole like, specifically her whole
oh
backstory
my
of, like,
god,
being
Uh-huh.
inspired, which is adorable.
I forgot. This is also where the super juicy bit comes, where Akane basically helps Kana get dressed. So she's like, "You're kind of dressed sloppily as if you're trying to be a backup dancer. I want you to be shining brilliantly." So she fixes her clothes, and then seemingly after helping her, and Aqua's just like, "Wow, that's why you don't go from fangirl to rival." And then she goes on this little mini internal dialogue where she's just like, you know, or you know what? No, I'm sorry. This happens again in the scene I'm thinking of later where she and Aqua talk not on set. We'll
Mhm.
get there when we get there because we have to find a body first. Uh,
Yeah, hey kids, you want to see a dead body because we can't let or we can't let Kana forget her suffering because Ruby grabs Akane in a big hug and says, I want Onde-chan to come and stay in my room tonight. Come on, we're going to the hotel together."
sleepover, sleepover. Meanwhile, Kanda's just like, please kill me. Please, for the love of God, kill me.
"Hey, Aqua, are you a fan of?" "Yeah, just go make sure my little sister's not getting herself killed, whatever." The most contrived. If it wasn't for the fact that we actually had a
It's literally divine
supernatural,
and yeah.
it's literally divine intervention because we had a supernatural character show up surrounded by crows. That it's the only reason that the fact that Ruby goes to be like, "Oh, look at the little birdie," and then
Did you know birds can't look up?
the crow steals her hotel keys and flies off,
Mhm.
prompting her and Akane to chase after it. Like,
Well, more specifically, Ruby chases after it, and Akane is following Aqua's instructions of not letting Ruby get herself killed.
Akane very reasonably going, just ask the hotel manager for a new key. We'll apologize and everything. We shouldn't be running around the forest at night in the mountains.
"No, I need to make sure that crow knows who's boss.
Oh god.
I'm
And
familiar with the area around here." "What do you mean by that?" Mean this is where Aqua and I were born and raised. Definitely not any sort of magic reincarnation or anything."
oh yeah, Aqua was mentioning some guy like that. Yeah.
Hey.
There's someone who's the greatest person ever. Hey, by the way, what do you feel of this about what's weird about age gaps? Um,
What would you say is the maximum acceptable age gap?
and I just love how Akane is just like, I mean, you are technically 16, which is for the most part age of consent in Japan. I guess if you were to date a college guy, that wouldn't be out of the question. Like I could especially in the
She's trying to
entertainment.
dodge the question.
And she essentially gets to the point of like, I mean, yeah, I guess if he was in the entertainment industry, you'd have that in common. So maybe like a 5, 6 age gap is fine, as long as they weren't too much, as long as they were roughly like only a little older. And then you've got just a Ruby sweating bullets. Yeah, he's definitely only a little older. He definitely isn't 20 years older before I died and had a 16-year time skip. This man is definitely not 46.
Ugh.
we
This
have
man
an,
I'm deeply in love with.
we have an entire fantasy page
Of
of
them being closer in age, yeah.
Ruby at a handshake event with Goro coming up to her and saying, I've watched you every step of the way, rooting for you, Ruby. I knew you could do it. Oh, Sensei, I love you so much.
I love how he's wearing a high school uniform, which
Well,
is
yeah, no,
weird.
because she's fantasizing about it being a different situation. The thing for me here is, this is making me so much anticipate where the story is going to go, because given the context that we had previously from like Serena's death scene, 100%, this is like a little girl crush on her dad kind of thing. Like she isn't in love with him the way she thinks she is, but she's never had the chance to process those emotions because she died and got reborn and lived another 17 years.
I mean, the problem is she has kind of been processing the idea of it for a long time.
Mm.
I Ruby is very naive, I'll give you that, but I feel like that removes a lot of agency from her to go like she doesn't know what she's talking about. I think she kind of does. I think there are certain realities of the situation she has not fully comprehended. I think when she's like, I could not have made it more clear to him that I desperately wanted to marry him. I said it for, and we get like a timeline of like what was once. It's like, oh, it's so cute that she said she wanted to marry him. But from her perspective, it's like, I am literally proposing to you. Just name a date and when. This is what I want for my life. And finally he goes like, look, I'll look you up when you're 16. I'm 16 now, bitch.
I love this because Akane is desperately trying to justify it. It's just like, I guess mental age is really the most important part.
Don't say mental
I
age. That creates a lot of problems in this comic.
Which also feels really on purpose.
I wouldn't mind a 10-year age gap. Okay, hold on a second.
Ugh.
Yep. Yeah, definitely 10 years. Yep, that's the age gap I was thinking.
It's like, wait, why are you asking about this? Because there's this guy I really like. I was so enamored with him. He gave me the reason to live and blah blah blah. And somehow, Akane, despite being in the exact same woods she was walking in that very morning, with Aqua also being uncannily weird about some guy in this region.
Here's the thing. I think she is kind of picking up on it. I don't think she's made the final
Yeah.
connection, but like
She doesn't want to think about it because she like
because it depends on magic existing is the thing. Like that's the
I understand that this is a problem of suspension of disbelief that I'm having, because her brain blast in the previous chapter where she's like, holy shit, I is Aqua and Ruby's mother, that is one thing. This entire reincarnation bullshit is something on a different plane entirely.
Here's the thing, Sam. I think I can clear this up for you. Having that brain blast about Aqua makes him dark and mysterious and hotter. Having the brain blast that they've been reincarnated and Ruby wants to fuck her brother is not hot. So
True. You know what? I think you've hit the nail on the head there.
she
and
is only fantasizing about whatever is the most like tantalizing.
yeah, because that's the thing. She's imagining the most interesting story in her head, and she's just happened to guess right a bunch of times. It's worth noting that the way Aqua was talking in his former life's abandoned home, he basically said out loud that he is that person reincarnated. Like, he didn't use those words, but every part of what he was talking about, and you could see the dead look in her eyes, is like, is he saying he's this reincarnated dead doctor?
Well, I haven't seen a dead body yet, so we'll worry about that. Oh no! This
'Cause-
crow took us back to the secret part of the shrine that's behind a gate behind a cave no one saw before. And deep within the shrine, there is a just hollowed out room with the dead body of Goro Sensei. How do you know it's Goro Sensei? Well, he's dressed like a doctor. That's not enough information. He's wearing the glasses. Not enough information. He's got his name badge that says Goro Sensei from the hospital on. Not enough information. He has an eye keychain tucked directly against his heart. There you go.
Oh my god, it's him!
And then Ruby just unfortunately has to see this and she's like, I'm having a mental breakdown now. Check in on me in 12 hours.
Yeah, Aqua even goes to the crime scene and is like, yep, them's my bones.
Well, because they called the police. They
Yeah.
had to leave to call the police, and that got everyone involved.
Mhm.
And then Aqua looked over the thing to see, is like, yep, I'm dead. That was already a thing I knew, but this is a thing.
This is concrete physical proof.
Sure is something to gaze upon your own grave.
Yep.
Yep. I'm gonna
Well-
go process this. I'm gonna
I'm gonna go
process
not
this on a-
process this.
I'm not going to go process this, and then I need to have a relationship talk with my girlfriend who just saw a dead body. Or not real girlfriend, but kind of girlfriend.
Hey, Akane, you ever think about survivor's guilt? That's bullshit. The murderer is the one who's guilty. Why are you blaming yourself? Reasons I really can't explain.
So I can't remember where this scene happens, and I feel bad because I'm pretty sure this happened in an earlier conversation. I do want to point out one of my favorite parts of this entire thing was Akane going, "Hey, Aqua, I just wanted to let you know, what are you doing going on dates with other girls? Because Kana was just bragging about how much you she was so happy when you took her on that little pity date. But we all know I'm your real end goal." And I'm like, holy shit, Akane, you are the best character in this.
Yeah, I don't remember what that was either, but I do
But
know
that
what
was
you're talking about.
that was juicy because that was like, I'm not threatened by her at all, and it's cute. She's got this little crush on you. Like, it's
Uh-huh.
just like, oh, you're dating other girls and you're not telling me. I guess we're not official yet. And then Aqua goes like, hey, I'm gonna have a whole monologue where I was just using you. I knew the body was going to be found. I set everything up so that you would follow the breadcrumbs so you would discover the body for me. You remember when I told you that someone I wanted needed to be killed? Well, they've been killed now, so there's no point in going ahead. Justice Keikaku. And his eyes are like shadowed out as if he's a villain for all of this.
Mhm.
And Akane is just like, no, that's bullshit. We're having an emotional talk right now because I'm thinking about breaking up with you. Because what was that? And he's just like, yeah, that's probably for the best. But I don't want to break up with you. But why? Because I'm so fucking turned on right now. Let's make out. And then they start kissing.
Wait, hold on. No. Despite the fact that I literally saved your life from suicide, you've been doing so much to help me on my little vengeance quest, but the vengeance quest is literally over now. My last skeleton has been buried. I can help you now without any reservations, without any ulterior motives. Come here, baby.
Oh, he's like, you know how you've been ride or die for me? Now I'm ride or die for you. And I'm like, this relationship is so fucking healthy.
It's so f***ing healthy while still being so f***ed up. I love it.
They just start making out. There's like, hey, did you see a dead body? Let's fucking make out.
They make out under the street light
lamp
at the
light.
park bench.
Which is also very on brand because it is awkward, like getting the visual confirmation that his former life is gone and non-existent. And he doesn't have a drive to move forward as revenge anymore. So he's essentially just, yeah, I am Aqua now. The previous me is gone completely. I have no moral reservations about dating a 17-year-old girl because I am 16.
And you know, when you've been that way for as long as you've been that way,
It's such a gray area, and Oshi No Ko knows it. Like, that's the thing.
can you remember precisely who you were 16 years ago, right now?
Meanwhile, Aqua's just like, I'm no longer morally concerned about this. This is just extra hot seasoning on this relationship for me now.
Yeah, 'cause I talk a lot about this being perfect reincarnation, and it is, but there's also the fact that time kind of wears away all things, and that includes the memories you had from before your death.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a strong proponent of the you of 15 years in the future is is as related to you as like a brother. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
to pretend like he is the same person who died is purposefully like
Is
not understand.
disingenuous.
Yeah, it's you're trying to make this seem worse than it is.
And like to a large extent, one of the biggest things is doesn't he deserve to be able to move on?
Yeah.
Is
Mhm.
he
Like
is he meant
Th-
to be shackled by something that he didn't do like forever?
yeah.
this is just a slightly more complicated version of the classic reincarnation romance.
Also, I'm just going to point this out. If your main concern is someone with a power imbalance taking advantage of the other, conveniently, we're reading a work of fiction where we get internal monologues from both characters where that's not the
Explaining their
case.
yeah,
Yeah.
explaining their genuine intentions, which is the other one where it's like there's a lot of cases where things that would be basically impossible to suss out in real life are like this is fiction, this is high drama. Like Aqua should be so punchable for basically dating two girls at the same time, but it works because it's juicy drama and we're here for that. So
It also works because Akane was turned on by it.
And somehow that's worse than everything. Yeah, exactly.
Akane was on board with that because it means she wins harder, and I can respect that attitude. Like,
Hey, f***ing men, brother.
only one of us will make it out of Blue Lock.
God, we need to read more Blue Lock.
We need to read more Blue Lock. And
But wait, it gets crazier.
it
Oh my
gets crazier because then we have my favorite chapter in the manga,
Can
chapter
we-
79.
Before we get there, can we just point out we were joking earlier, but from what develops in the next two chapters, Aqua and Akane do have the healthiest relationship currently.
Uh-huh.
Which is
Unironically,
really
yeah.
saying something.
Then we get my favorite chapter in the manga, chapter 79, where Ruby has her meeting with Saturn, the god of death.
Mhm.
I love the little I complained I think about the ice sparkles. It's like, what the fuck are the ice sparkles? Is that genetic? Is that some sort of weird metaphorical bullshit? And then I have just embraced it is weird metaphorical bullshit. And the fact that even in the depths of her despair of Goro Sensei is dead, I am alone in this new life. Everything that is Aqua is now untethered from his previous life and completely free and embraces that as a positive. Ruby is untethered from her previous life, and that is the nadir of her character because everything that I was fighting for is gone now. Oh god, I have nothing else.
Yeah, because Ruby was unaware of any of this. She
Mhm.
is now having a grim realization that because she had luckily been spared. She had been spared from the worst of I being murdered, and
Mhm.
now it's coming to the realization, oh god, Goro was killed the day mom gave birth to us, and then
Yep.
someone killed mom. It sure is weird that the two most important people to me in the world were both murdered.
Mhm. And
Point Psycho
important
Pop little crow girl shows up.
Goro had time to mourn Serena. Serena just died, became Ruby, and now this.
And it does keep getting mentioned. Her entire thing for being born as Ruby was, oh good, I've been given a second chance to find love.
Mhm.
Oh no, that's been taken away from me, and not by time, not by some uncruel god. A human person did that.
And that's when the psychopomp shows up when Thanatos arrives and says, "Oh, corpse looter, what you got there? Is that some trinket from the bones they found in the cave? Naughty, naughty."
Cuts around to show Ruby not processing what's going on
Mhm.
during the shoot after this conversation has happened.
Yep.
Yep.
Because we have the dramatic cutaway of Raven Girl being like, "Whoa, hey, you want to know something? I know the answers you want."
Quite literally. What?
Mhm. And that's when we have, the girls doing their shoot. We have Kana complaining about the fact that they're making us do all this cutesy stuff in summer clothes in the middle of winter. Holy shit, it's cold. Someone get me a towel.
And Anemone is on the sidelines going like, Kana is a professional. Mem is great. She obviously didn't get successful on her own for a reason, but as a backup, she's doing great. Both of these are star performers. Ruby's the prettiest, but she really doesn't have what I'm looking for. I'm kind of wondering what I can do with that because she's still trying to, in her head, make the music video.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get cut
We
back
get-
to the flashback.
Man, it's crazy. At this hospital here, an idol secretly gave birth to twins. And on that day, a doctor died. The doctor in charge of her delivery. And there were reports of weird men gathering around outside the hospital. 2 of them. A university student who later murdered that same idol. And someone roughly in middle school. Gee, isn't that crazy? Wait a minute. Who was the person in middle school? Who was the other guy? Isn't that your job to find out?
They're also very vague about what they mean by in middle school. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Middle school, more or less. So we're basically not
Not told
properly
anything.
giving away an age. Yeah.
I fucking adore the panel of little Psychopomp going, that's your job to figure out. As the crows are swarming around her, one of their wings blotting out her eyes.
Blocking out her eyes because
Yes! This is the shit I'm for!
is not subtle, and we're here for it. What's being told to Ruby at this point is what the audience and Akana figured out the instant they were told what Aqua was told.
As she's having that realization too, like in the middle of performing, she suddenly gets like a burst of energy, stares the camera dead on, and in her eyes are 2 sparkles, but not the bright white ones of life they've been before. These are dark pits of death.
She gets the double Gios.
And we get like literally a Gios reaction from Anemone as she gets like the full panel of like staring down the barrel of the gun, and she just shudders. My God, it's perfect. And from her reaction, they wrap up filming, and she's just like, "Hey, is it okay if I take extra time with the one? I need to completely re-edit that from the ground up." And
Yep.
Mame is like, "What do you mean by that? It's gonna be so fucking hot." What?
we have the end page of Ruby slumped, crying in the river, black crow feathers fluttering around her.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
And, like-
it's like, is that Anemone editing in her head, or is that diegetic? Because we know that the little girl
It's yes.
Psychopomp Crow God.
It's yes. The answer is yes. We also have the full splash page. Basically a 1-to-1 of when Aqua had the motivation of revenge, when he tasted the blood of vengeance. Of Ruby getting the dark stars in her eyes, going, I will find you. The one who killed the one who killed Goro Sensei, and I will kill you.
Such a good page.
Such a good page.
Love this chapter so much.
This whole chapter is just great page after great page. It's amazing.
Which is hard because chapter 80 is almost as good in every way. Because it starts off then with the scene of Ruby and Akane still sharing a room because they were always just going to be roommates, I guess. And it's them like
they were
sleeping.
roommates.
Sleeping. Yeah, I guess roommates who both wanted to bang Aqua. But we're not there yet. Love how that's thrown into. I forget where that's implied, either in this chapter or the next one. But it's essentially.
We start off with after shooting has wrapped up on the music videos. Akane has gone to the hot spring.
Oh my God, that's right.
She's reflecting on the past few days. She has a flashback of the kiss under the streetlight and does the whole blushing, sinks down under the water, going. Blah, 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 blah.
That was so hot. And then because she's thinking about Aqua, Kana comes in, and's like, "Hey, second place, how's it going?" She's like, if only you knew.
Hey, your face is all red. Maybe you should get out of the water before you overheat, idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm blushing.
I heard you're starring in a movie or something. I'm so jealous. Not the only thing you should be jealous of, but yeah, let's talk about the movie.
It is so ships passing in the night.
It's so it is 100% Akane just vibing on the fact she's beaten Kana so tremendously, and just going like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get out on the bath. You enjoy your soak in private. I'm gonna not go think deeply about making out with my boyfriend." I'm sorry, what? No, you didn't hear that.
I
Good luck with whatever it is you do.
I love it because Kana's just like, yeah, you're really trailing this thing on with Aqua quite a bit. I mean, it's just a business thing, a reality dating show romance. Are you really keeping this up just for appearances? It's not a reality dating show anymore.
Yeah.
What's that? Anyway, see ya. Good night.
Such a hard line. Like literally like, yeah. You don't use tongue for the cameras. I'm sorry, what?
And like we're playing it up like she's the stone cold badass, but she's still blushing maiden. Like, yeah, it's
Because she's a dumb teenager who has explicitly stated earlier in our reading that she has literally zero experience. So
Mhm.
she's trying to be the cold bitch, but she has no idea how to succeed at doing that.
Look, Akane's ride or die in all matters of life.
And Kana's like, oh shit. No way. Wait, hold. Wait.
I'm sure it's fine. Anyway, they're probably gonna go have roommate talks or whatever. But Kana is always on top. What?
Hey, Akane One-san, why do you think my brother became an actor? Well, Ruby, he mentioned something to me about wanting to find a guy, and I don't remember calling him.
I'm sorry,
But
did you say
Anyway.
kill him?
Anyway,
That-
I'm sure he just wanted to find his favorite actor. That's what it was.
he told me he doesn't really care about it that much anymore. It's not a big deal. Anyway, good night.
Hey, One-chan, you and my brother haven't made out, have you? No, we're gonna go to bed. And then, obviously, because Ruby is super intelligent, goes, my God, Aqua's been looking for a man in the entertainment industry and he just wants to meet him. And that's the only reason he even decided to be an actor. Good job, big brother. I'm going to help you find that man so that you can kill him and I can keep my hands clean. Also, I'm kind of into it. And I'm like, Ruby, stop. That's your brother, but also your love interest. Oh, please don't go the direction I think this might.
Akasaka sensei, please.
I genuinely don't think it will, but
I love the love triangle they're setting up where all members of B Kamache are into Aqua.
The love quadrangle.
Is it wrong I forgot Mem existed and I included Akane in B Kamache?
I definitely didn't skim ahead. Just
To see
like
when they
flip
kill
through-
off Mem? Gotcha.
flip through the pages, and the idea of all three members of Bikomachi being love interests for Aquas. There were some weird panels that I flipped past quickly.
Not implausible. Gotcha.
Yeah.
We have my favorite panel, which is they all go to the shrine to offer prayers to the goddess of entertainment, and the the president's just like, please don't have my talent cause any trouble, please. As all of the talent is thinking, I can't wait to cause trouble.
I love how this scene made me realize the president was on this trip. I
Yep.
completely forgot. I'm like, who's this blonde chick?
The poor long-suffering president.
Yeah, and this is also where Ruby gets her scene where I wish Aqua will kill that guy for me. Like,
I hope he finds that motherfucker so I can put him in the ground.
Yeah, actually, that's sort of the way that she's mentally phrasing it is that because it's like she knows how smart Aqua is. She doesn't know why, but she knows how smart Aqua is, and she wants him to find it. And the implication is so I can do the killing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be the one holding the knife.
they're on the same wavelength at least.
Yeah.
Yep. And we have the sort of a brief time skip before the manga's like, all right, next story arc, next time. Well, not actually next time, but that thus brings us to the end of our reading.
With a 6-month time skip, I believe.
So, favorite character? God, it's hard to pick. But no, it's definitely the little psychopomp Raven girl. She showed up like twice, but holy shit, the most
She
Sam
stole the
coded-
goddamn show. Like, let's be honest. You want to talk about star power? What do you mean?
the most Sam coded character. Hey, I'm here to show up and mysteriously talk about death. You f- with that? Yeah, I f- with that.
Oh.
How about you, Matt?
So, in any rational world, I would pick Kana because she had the funniest scenes in here, and it was great. The fact that she was just swooped off her feet for the date with Aqua, she's honestly got some of the best bits in here. Which is why I have to pick Akane, because holy crap, does she motivate every single thing? And then she also kisses Aqua, and they both have just reasonable, healthy conversations about their emotions. And proving that Akane is ride or die. Like,
I
oh,
love it.
I can't wait for this relationship to dissolve because they clearly aren't endgame, but we'll see.
We'll see. And Jacob, favorite character?
So by far the most interesting character is Ruby. I want to point that out. But favorite character, I love Memcho so much. I want to give her a hug and tell her it's going to be okay. The
Mhm.
degree to which this poor woman gets murdered on every panel. She needs help.
A mem will die on every page.
And she looks so cute while doing it.
Poor thing.
I love how her incognito outfit is a hat that has in a heart mem and the devil horns.
Uh-huh. She's always got to have that. It's iconic.
Oh.
Oh, and thoughts on the plot. Holy shit, I don't know where to begin. We've basically reset the murder mystery by having Aqua give up, and now Ruby has taken up the reins. Except she is way too stupid to be a detective.
Which she kind of knows.
But she's angry enough to be a murderer is the thing. Like,
Exactly.
I love how our response to plot predictions is the exact opposite of last episode because we're like, they kind of gave up on the isekai, and I don't really know where they could possibly be going with figuring out the murder. And then they do like a complete 180. The murder is solved within the first chapter of this like arc we read. And then we find out it's not been solved. And also the isekai was real. And also there's a god of death that's been orchestrating this whole thing.
So the isekai is integral to the murder mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And we were reminded that Aqua was in love with his mom and Ruby was in love with Aqua. But Aqua was only in love with I because he felt bad for Serena. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's there's a quagmire of emotions that I'm sure will not be explored in any way.
Oh. It's gonna be painful. I'm here for it.
It's going to be extremely painful. I can't wait for Ruby because somehow, despite all of this, despite Akane going on 2 separate trips into the mountains with both of these people clearly saying, yeah, the guy from my past life sure was important to me, she still doesn't know about the reincarnation plotline. And I'm really trying hard not to do the fanfic plot thing of, oh, why doesn't the character have perfect knowledge? The character doesn't have perfect knowledge because why would she think that? But at the same time, I'm thinking, there is no way we're setting up this much of everybody being in a millimeter of getting it without there being some sort of thing where finally both Aqua and Ruby are going to talk to each other and be like, hey, so about those weird experiences we had as kids. Wait, you're a reincarnation too?
That's too obvious. That's never going to happen. These people second guess every conversation they have.
I know.
I think the most realistic interpretation is Akane just going like, "Hey siblings, I gotta just be real with you. Were you both in love with the doctor that delivered you? Because you both talk about him in such reverence. Also,
Mhm.
weird. You talk about him with reverence, but as we've established, he died the day you were born.
Yeah. No, it's like I really, really want them to just say, "Wow, we're both reincarnations. Ain't that wacky?" I know that's not gonna happen because that's
No.
not dramatic enough.
'It's not
100%.
dramatic. No, they'll go for the most melodramatic option possible.
I think Matt's got a hit on the head there.
I 100% believe what's going to happen is Akane is going to walk into the Bikamachi dressing room and go, "Hey, I'm going to have to lay down some ground rules. Kana, Ruby, neither of you can make out with my boyfriend. I'm just setting those ground rules right now. I know you've both been thinking about it. I've been letting this go too long. I need to nip this in the bud. Ruby for obvious reasons, and Kana, sorry.
I've already gotten the high from beating you. Want to move on.
The kink is satisfied. I don't need it continued."
Oh.
No, they're stupid teenagers, 100%. Actually, there might be some relationship drama because we did kind of get that throwaway line that Akane is starring in a movie, and we did do
Yeah.
a 6-month time skip, so we're probably jumping into her being in the process of filming it. And Aqua's currently just ride or die for her, so he's probably like, I don't know, Phantom of the Opera-ing her stunt double or something. I don't
Probably.
making out in the like casting couch. That's not the right word. The dressing room.
Oh.
Yeah, I think for any more plot predictions, we really need like something outside of the status quo to interact with the isekai stuff. Because we just know there's another person who is maybe like 5 years older than them, or middle school. Sorry, that's 8 years, 10 years.
It could even be more than that. I think it was left vague on purpose so that you can go up or down by a couple of years.
Hmm.
Because presumably, like, middle schooler is really weird because unless there's a third person involved, isn't the other person besides the stalker supposed to be the dad? And if it's middle schooler, then this is already treading into uncomfortable territory, and I don't want to think about that.
Oh, dude who visited the grave didn't look that old.
Didn't look that old. Yeah, so I'm thinking like middle school more or less. I'm thinking it's actually like early high school because we've already had a situation where someone far too young got far too physical. Like Oshi No Ko has gone there before.
Oh, no, I was thinking that their dad got isekai'd into a middle school body, but I'm realizing now that doesn't actually make sense timeline-wise because he would have had to age 10 years. Yeah, that's a
And also, I don't think reincarnation gives you the same DNA for the half brother with
Oh, he does look the
yeah.
same, that's right.
Unless past lives are stored in the balls.
What is this manga? Okay, the only other thing I wanted to mention before we end this madness is that one thing that I have always noted about Oshi No Ko is that it's been like 4 different manga, and like it is woven this very stretched to its absolute limit web. And I've always sort of had the opinion of I really like all of the parts of this, but I kind of wish it was one story. And I didn't think that they were ever going to pull it all together into one cohesive, like, main storyline. What I was expecting to happen before I read this section is it would keep going back and forth between Aqua and his murder mystery, which was the more interesting story, and Ruby and her ambitions as an idol, which was the more interesting character. But now it's all one plot line. The only thing that really needs to happen is that Aqua needs to realize that his closure isn't closure, and suddenly everything snaps into the same wavelength.
100% it's gonna be Akane realizing that the relationships got really vanilla now that he's not trying to murder someone. She's just like, "Hey, I thought about something that might spice something up. Have you ever thought, maybe that murder-suicide was just a double murder by the same guy?"
Holy
Huh? Huh? Huh?
shit.
Huh? Huh? Huh?
Who was it? Who else was it on our podcast that was turned on by murder? Was that Misa in the Death Note movie?
I was gonna
Oh,
say, if you're
yes.
talking about hosts, you're not specific enough.
Sam? Or Jay? Both, I guess.
No, it was definitely me seeing the Death Note movie.
Yeah,
Definitely that, not the other things Matt mentioned.
the Netflix Death Note movie, which is way better than it deserved to be.
Truly the peak of all media we've consumed thus far.
I mean, not unlike Oshi No Ko. This shouldn't work, but it does.
They should get the director of that to make the Oshi No Ko movie.
Unironically.
That is the exact vibe.
No, it's the right aesthetic and everything. Yeah. Oh. I guess that kind of goes into our final question.
Would you continue reading? I struggled not to, just to make sure that I stayed within the bounds of the podcast.
Did I mention I skimmed and flipped through the next couple of pages?
I think the only thing that stopped me from reading more was the fact that I actually got a kitten.
I guarantee you, after we're wrapped with the podcast, I am going to go start reading because I am so invested.
I have never ended a reading we've done more wishing we could do more.
Uh-huh.
Next week, even more Oshi No Ko.
Whoa. That's communist talk, Jacob. Because as we all know, listeners, next week is the 4th of July.
And that can mean only one thing.
We here at the Over Manga Cast really appreciate when you do your patriotic duty of leaving us a review, which you can do at overmangacast.com, where there's a comment section at the end of each thing. Or you can also send an email to overmangacast@gmail.com, which is great recommendations like this episode, or things no one has ever recommended us read, which is more of what we're reading next week. Hey, Sam, what are we reading next week?
Eagle, the making of an Asian American president, Volume 4!
Oh my God, the most American manga that's ever existed.
I have the stomach to read all of the volumes of this, but we will only be reading that next one if you're keeping up with the show. And we'll see you all next Thursday. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
So, yeah, so Ruby wants to have sex with her brother, right?
She doesn't know it's her brother yet, but you're right.
Okay. So when do we transfer this over to the Cis Confidential podcast? Because really, it's really fighting at the edge there.
If it'll get Jay back on the show, we need the whole cast.
Yeah, well, you know, Jay kind of did quit the show over Cis Confidential being made official, but maybe we can convince her.